Hi, I think I'm on air. This is exciting. So the first thing that I wanted to know about being live when you use Google Hangouts is whether or not text would be reversed. And so I found out, yes, we've learned right away that this is written normal, and then I did it in a mirror version because I was nervous it might show up reversed. And so FYI, if you are broadcasting live using Google Hangouts, the quick way, then you need to make sure all of your text is backwards. So anyway, what I want to talk about today is that I'm thinking a lot about this theory of productivity. And I think that productivity always involves the interplay between three things. And I'm nervous that I can't write them all backwards quickly, but we'll see. I'll write them forwards and then reverse it like I did with this one. So self-care is the first one. I think that in order to, and this is something that it took me a really long time to learn, and I didn't learn until later in life, which is that, you can't just be a machine, a productivity machine. You have to make sure you're taking care of yourself, that you're sleeping, that you're eating well, that you're refilling your tank if you want to get great things done. So I think that because our culture is so focused on, what you can produce and how much money you can make and what you can do and what you can impact and what you can create, that we really celebrate people that work long hours. We celebrate people that work a 9 to 5 and come home and build something else. We celebrate people for how little sleep they can get by on, and we're always offering ways to sleep less or sleep better or get more done in less time. And that constant pushing, I think, really leaves out an important component, which is that you have to take care of yourself, or else you don't have a machine, you don't have any functionality to produce anything. So that's something that it's a concept that I've accepted, but I'm still learning what that means in my life and how it interplays with a couple of other things. And so another component of this sort of triad that I'm figuring out right now is perseverance. So that seems like it's in contrast to or paradoxical to what I just said about self-care, but there are times when you do just need to push through, or that you need to dig deep and do a thing that you don't want to do. So I'm going to write that the way I can: perseverance. Oh, it's so long. Is that even spelled right? Okay. This is going to be yours. Okay, so let's see. P-E-R-S-E-R. Yeah, good. I'm impressed with my ability to do this, by the way. Okay, so perseverance, of course, is an important part of productivity, and people often call it grit. Actually, I think they call it grit because Angela Duckworth, a positive psychologist, has, within the last 15 years, done a lot of clinical research on what makes some kids perform really well in school and what makes other kids fall behind in the context of difficult circumstances. And grit is the set of behaviors or habits that she's come up with to term this. But basically it means that the students are able to find the resources within themselves to keep going when things get hard. So perseverance, maybe also grit, is another important part of productivity, but it needs to be in balance with self-care. You can't just push. You have to know when it's time to dig deep and when it's time to say, like, I need a break. But I think that another part that people don't talk about is the idea of the work that you're doing. Well, they talk about it, but they don't talk about it in relationship to these things. And that is whether or not you're working, or the work that you're doing is in line with your purpose, or maybe your talents or your aptitude. And I think that those things together form some sort of triangle that I don't really understand yet. So again, I'll do it. Aptitude, and spell it backwards, A P T I T U D. Aptitude. Yeah, good. So those things together, so we'll cross out this, this. How do they play together in order to create a productive, like your perfect balance of productivity? And I think for me, those are the three things that I'm trying to keep in balance all the time. That, you know, if that's like what you're shooting for. Because if it's in balance, like let's say it's a triangle, right? If it's a triangle, then those things should all balance each other out. But if you're doing something like that you hate or that you're no good at, or like, let me think of, I don't even hate sports. I just don't care about sports at all. So I have no aptitude and I have no perseverance, you know, and therefore no natural perseverance. So if I have to be in a conversation about sports or do anything related to sports, I need to like really dig deep into my personal resources for self-care and maybe also perseverance in order to like get through that conversation or learn anything about it, because I don't have any kind of natural flow in that space. And I will deplete really quickly. So I'm going to need to do, let's say for some reason I had to do something related to, like I had to watch football all day long. At the end of that day, I would need to do something for myself in order to refill up my tank so that I could be productive the next day in some way. Watching football all day is not a great example of productivity, of course, but I'm riffing here. Okay, that's the best I can come up with off the top of my head. What's something else that I'm really bad at? I'm bad at driving. That's true also. And then again, I'm also not very good at it. So that's a perfect example of having a lack of aptitude and talent. So again, these things get out of control. But let's say on the other hand, I really like painting. So like artistic painting, not painting walls in your house. Oh, that's all right. But I can do that for a really long time. And I don't need to dip too far into self-care and perseverance. But sometimes I do. Like if I get to a hard point or I'm painting someone's nose or ears, those things are very difficult. Then you might need to dip into perseverance a little bit, but self-care doesn't get as depleted as much, or it can actually be a type of self-care. So anyway, I don't know if any of this makes sense, but this is a working theory that I have about productivity and getting things done, and about trying to keep these things balanced. And if you guys know anything about graphs, like I don't even know if a triangle is the right way for me to display this. Like, should they have arrows? I don't know how that works, maybe. So let me know in the comments what you think of this. And also, yay for me because I just did live for the first time and it was terrifying. And I also wasn't sure how to do it. So if you have questions about that, I can also help you. Okay, bye.